Coffee and Pan Dulce. How's that? Coffee and Pan Dulce.
Barb Bacon, and I'm a community advocate here in South Charlotte. If I had my buttons on today, it would be, let's get some gun control. I'm tired of looking at the news and seeing this. Black Lives Matter in honor of our friend Joel. And let's have equal rights for everybody.
This is James Gunn. I am a community advocate here in Charlotte, North Carolina for LGBT women's rights with the National Organization for Women, gun sense laws with Moms and Men Action, and anything that extends equity to all. Thank you.
Christian Cano, you're the co-host. My buttons are Moms and Men Action, gun sense legislation, healthcare for all, Medicare for all, and also in my heart, Black Lives Matter on behalf of Joe Oldham, who's a guest of ours who passed away last year. That's it.
Good morning, everybody. It is Coffee and Pan Dulce time, and it is May 24th. I am Diddy James Gunn, along with Christian Cano. It's just us two flying solo times two, times dose.
That's right.
And we got a little different type of music on this morning.
Yeah.
Elaborate why.
Yeah. Good morning. Yeah, I wanted to play this song "Panic" by the Smiths. Because a lot of people are panicking around the country, especially if you're a Desantis supporter in Florida. So and we'll kind of talk about that on one of our, they're in this panic. There's a lot of polling coming out that says they got some concerns in 2024. We got a lot of time, but there's some concerns. Yeah.
I mean, they said that same thing about Trump in 2016. Yeah. Exactly. Like, I remember many hosts on Fox News said there's no way he can even win the nomination.
Yeah. That's true.
The rest was history.
Yeah.
Not that I'm rooting for Desantis, but I think, well, when we get to that part,
Sure. Yeah. Well, good morning, Jenny. Today, as you mentioned, when we drop this, is May 24th. May is going by fast. Wow. It's already, when you see this, we record this, everyone knows, we tape a week early, and there's been a lot going on here in where we are, North Carolina, last night, and then also around the country, and we'll kind of talk about those. As Jenny mentioned, welcome everyone to Coffee and Pan Dulce. I'm Christian Cano, one of your co-hosts, along with Jenny Gunn. Barb Bacon is actually off. She's doing her thing. So we hope to see her next week or the week after. This is Coffee and Pan Dulce. We want to thank those who join us on Facebook Live, but also those who join us on YouTube, and the thousands who listen to us on your favorite audio podcast platform. Now, today's topic is our third edition of called the Coffee and Pan Dulce, the CBD Biggest Queen Show. We've had two already, and this is the third one. It's Trump versus DeSantis. Very timely because we're expecting our favorite Dick Sanctimonious. What do we call him?
So Trump calls him DeSanctimonious, and we call him.
That's right.
Several residents in Key West call him Dick Suckus.
That's right.
There's some rumors about his sexuality out there, but it's just rumors.
Some say.
Rumors.
Yeah.
Clearly, there's something funky going on in that dude's brain.
Well, this is very timely because he's expected to announce he's running for president. We all know he's going to be running. Either when you see this, it may have already been done, or before Memorial Day weekend. I think everyone is expecting it right around the corner. So before we get into those topics, we got a lot to talk about. I wrote some things that I'm stealing from Jenny's show. Jenny has a show that comes on 30 minutes after this one at 11:30 every Wednesday. It drops. It's called Two Queers in a Truck, and we tape it before. So I kind of know what she's talking about, so I kind of steal some of those, and I'm going to steal a couple of them here so we can go deeper. Because there was one thing about drag queens I thought was an interesting conversation that we had on your show, Jen, but I want to dig deeper into. So, but before we do that, let's jump into Barb's current events.
And this is Barb's current events.
All right, so Barb's current events. I'm going to put my glasses on because I don't have my contacts on today. Again, I couldn't get them in. I was running a little late. The first one, Jen,
kind of look smart like Bobert.
Exactly. I'm doing the Moms for Liberty look. All I need is the big hair and the makeup, the smoky eyebrows, the smoky, in there, like Trisha Coughlin does. Have you seen that Trisha Coughlin look? It's got this huge. I don't want to. All right, we're not. Yeah. Okay. Listen, the party of family values, and I know they know this, and it doesn't even mean anything anymore because everyone knows this. The party of family values it's not. Bobert is now going to join her gal pal MTG and is getting divorced. Normally, person who comes from a divorced family, I would not make fun of this, but what we have been through and all the shit they have given us, it's going to be an eye for an eye. I think it has to be that way until they make it. Anyway, we'll see that one. So that's the first one. She's getting divorced. The second one, which I thought was incredibly another eye for an eye kind of conversation, there is a neo-Nazi who is from California, who has a platform on one of these right-wing things that is actually grooming kids. This person is a white supremacist, white nationalist, wears like really dark eyeliner and makeup and everything, looks just like a, whatever you think, and has these people going to his website and like flashes the thing for Heil Hitler and all this. It's really this crazy thing. And the Rolling Stones dropped this story last week about, you want to talk about real groomers, this is really a groomer guy. He's not trying to sexually groom them. He's groomed them to believe in white supremacy and all that kind of stuff. And there are parents that pay. It's almost like an only, is that what you call OnlyFans? Well, parents sign up to subscribe to his thing. And he just like for 2 minutes says, don't you want to put a Jewish person in an oven? Don't you want to shoot a drag queen? And it's really crazy. Yes, it's crazy. The next one, and this is why I have this panic. When you watch this, you will have heard in Florida, a Desantis-backed person who is running for mayor in the largest city, the most populous city in Florida, I believe, is that Jacksonville? We'll find out.
Miami's bigger. But
well, actually, it said that the most populous city in Florida, Tallahassee, anyway, Jacksonville, that the Democrat won the mayor race. A female Democrat beat a heavily favored Desantis-backed, and that's what I'm saying. Panic is because that is one of the reddest. It's the largest city governed by a Republican, and it now turned to be governed by a Democrat because the Democrats in that city said, we need a change. This is huge. Last one. I'm so proud all around the country. We have been seeing these Moms for Liberty, harassing school boards and so forth. And this is in, I believe it's in Chattanooga, Tennessee. A school board decided to cancel a library's Mother's Day lesson because the school librarian, wanted to include mothers who don't have children, wanted to include just all moms or something like there was something in this. And the Moms for Liberty said that it was wrong and they canceled it. Well, the taxpayers uprised and bombarded the school board and gave them heck and saying, this is crazy, you've gone too far. And now there are parents that are fighting back. And I'll read you a quote that was just almost like the person's watching our show. So there's actually not 3 current events, there's actually 4. So there's the divorcee, the groomer, the Dems win, and the bullies. So what do you think, Jen, in 30 seconds or less? Sorry, I got a lot of them there. I stole one from your show, so. So what do you think?
I think, we talked about this at length on my show about the Boebert divorce.
Yeah, that's what I stole.
I couldn't see that coming. I mean, the white supremacist hillbilly trash people they are. It's not shocking. I mean, their behaviors are reprehensible. The stupid stuff she says. If she believes half of what she says that comes out of her idiot mouth, it's not. And then, of course, he's such a charmer. Running over people's neighbors' mailboxes and doing donuts in their yard, tearing up their yards, shooting off his guns in the air outside.
Exposing himself to minors.
Yeah, he's a
he's a catch. Offender. He's a catch.
They're both keepers. like
exactly.
I'm divorcing each other because I'm not sure who would want that dumpster fire or either one. I mean, they're both dumpster fires. Exactly. They are well matched. It's sad that they had kids. They drew kids into this world, and they're actually the ones that raised them. So you just imagine there's just a whole next generation of Boebert fuckery. The Jacksonville story is great. To put it in perspective, Jacksonville's a very conservative city. It's in the northern part of Florida, and the more north you get in Florida, the more you get. It's more like Georgia. It's got a rural Georgia at that. So tends to be fairly conservative, and to have a DeSantis handpicked candidate get beat in that part of the world, it would be less shocking if this person had won the mayorship of like Miami or parts of South for
exactly
more purple to blue, even blue. But the fact that you see this win, it'd be the equivalent of seeing a Republican candidate win San Francisco. Yeah, and that's what they were kind of saying on Twitter. Skip, it's but also I think it's an indictment of DeSantis. I think it is.
Exactly.
They're watching him burn Florida down, hurt the travel business that goes to Florida. People are not wanting to go there. There are people that are changing their vacation plans when that economy is completely dependent on travel. Florida is one of the most travel-dependent tourism destinations in the United States, but they act like they don't have an exclusive to travel. Like there's a Disneyland in California, there's adult entertainment in Vegas, there is, but Florida doesn't have a lock on cool nightclubs. They don't have there's so many other great destinations in the United States where you don't have to put up with a DeSantis and crazy drag rules. Just think if you're a straight woman that just presents very masculine, and I've got tons of straight cisgendered women friends, but from behind they look male because their haircut, their presentation, their build, and with those crazy ass drag laws, you don't know because they've written so loose and so vague on purpose, and it's on purpose, just like the Don't Say Gay bill was written for broad interpretation to damage public schools, to destroy public schools so they can privatize them. I think these drag laws, one, are trying to hurt travel and tourism for a lot of reasons. I think they've gotten to the point where they want their own private little kingdoms. They want their own, they could care less if people move out. They want
Yeah, we're going to get into drag, Adler, because I'm going to steal that from your show. Do you have any comments on this? I know we don't really know a lot about this Rolling Stone article that came out about this Nazi groomer.
I don't. I'm not shocked.
Because I just heard about it. So, yeah.
I don't think it's much different than what QAnon's been doing for 7-8 years.
Yeah, it's almost exactly what, that's kind of what they're talking about. There's a lot of groomers that we don't even know about. Yeah.
Yeah, or every church that's been doing this for, 1,600 years. So it's not shocking that the Christo-fascists have got this Nazi, this fascist doing stuff. And I can see families doing that because you look at all these idiot fascist gun nuts that'll do Christmas cards and they're all holding AR-15s and stuff. It's some kind of weird, creepy, virtue signaling gun worship. Which I don't get at all. I don't. There's got to be something psychologically wrong with you. So I see it as kind of that. I see it as, well, don't you want to be a Hitler Youth kind of thing? I mean, it's a thing. Sadly.
Well, and then this last one, I know, in Knoxville. These Moms for Liberties, they've had a reign of terror in 2022 and 2023 will be known as the Moms for Liberty reign of terror. And the war on drag queens, transgender, gay people. It's been a tough couple of years, but when the dust settles, which I think is going to settle towards the end of this year, you have these pockets of parents that are standing up. This is Knoxville, Tennessee. And this is not like a Democratic stronghold. They are coming out and saying, this is too crazy.
But here's my thing with this, though. There's certain things, especially with school boards, if you go in fucking around, I don't care how wacko Republican the district is, at some point they're saying, these are our kids.
Exactly.
And they don't want these fascist moms for tyranny educating their kids or controlling their kids' education. I vote for Republican for these reasons, and but there's a lot of John McCain type of Republicans in most of these middle America cities like Knoxville. Knoxville's not known for extremism on either side. Knoxville's kind of a chill place, and I think they go, that's stupid. And these are these common sense, middle of the road issues that don't have a polarization of politics. You can't attach progressiveness or conservatism to schools. If it makes sense, then it betters kids' minds, you do it. It's just like, there's a lot of extremism in school sports. I mean, the fact that the body damage that football does to young bodies is ridiculous. But they still have football. They still have foosball and other things. Yeah, and I think that the parents just are like, well, why can't we do this? Well, why is people twisting off about this? This sounds stupid to me. I think in certain instances, just like the Jacksonville election of the mayor, and this situation, I think are tied together because people see these people twisting off on certain things. And they're going, a rainbow flag in a classroom is not going to make my little Johnny gay. Yeah. If my son turns out to be gay, it's because he's gay.
Well, and exactly. And we talk about it a lot on this show. Hey, listen, we're up against our first break. So we're going to kind of finish up on these Barb's current events as we have been, and then we'll go very briefly into our topic, because it's not going to be a close election, I think. Well, I don't know. This is Trump versus Desantis. Who knows? So we will be right back on Coffee Pan Dulce right after this.
Hey, y'all. Thanks for watching, and support local black and brown businesses, including our sponsor, Manolo Bakery. That has some fabulous pastries, food, king steaks, all kinds of specialty cakes, swallows, and much, much more. Some of the best food you eat in Charlotte, North Carolina. Again, Manolo's Bakery, right here in East Charlotte. Thanks for watching.
Well, welcome back. And as Jenny said, on these 4 topics, I just want to read you what this dad said. And this is the reason I wanted to talk about this, because we have been saying this, and this dad was a very common sense dad. And this is what he said at the school board. I'm going to read this. I'm going to put my glasses on. He said, I've never seen them shoveling mulch, putting up swing sets, painting door frames. We're here in the trenches. We're here with these children. This is 2023. I'm a Christian man married to a woman, but I think everyone should be represented fairly. If you want to keep your kids in a closet and just shelter them for everything, homeschool them. Send them to a Christian church. This is a public school for everyone. Everyone. I've dealt with that woman, and she loves kids. He's talking about the librarian that these Moms for Liberty were calling a groomer. So this dad is what you're talking about. These Moms for Liberty Bible bigots they represent maybe 15 to 20% of America. This is very loud, very, very loud, obnoxious ladies, people in general. This dad is a dad, probably a blue-collar dad, working-class dad, and they are now starting to say, hey, listen, we're the ones who have been involved in our kids' educations for a long time. I've never seen, and what we've been saying, listen, if you don't like the school, homeschool your darn kid or send him to a private school. And this is what I'm saying, Jenny, is that exactly. And this is what I'm saying. These charter schools, public schools, they run out like, especially here in North Carolina, they're trying to pass this new law with Tricia Cotham, the trader lady. Is trying to pass this voucher thing where you can use a voucher anywhere at a private school, at a religious school, at whatever. Okay, it's probably going to pass. But here's the deal. They have been telling us for 20 years that parents need school choice. And yet they're still saying we need school choice. We need school choice. And this is what I think parents are going to start to wake up to. Listen, you have been saying this for a long time, and you're still pissed off at public schools. Maybe it's time you homeschool your kid, because we're never going to make you happy.
Oh, and here's the thing. Paying for school choice, especially in North Carolina, is unconstitutional. They have a constitutional obligation to fund the schools, and they don't. They purposely underfund the schools. Because what they're trying to do is, they passed another bill that went into law that whatever special donations, like if Harris
has to be split, has to be equally given. So if $100,000 is given to CMS schools, for example, sure, then $100,000 has to go to the charter schools. Well, the charter schools don't have the obligation of all the special services like occupational therapy and physical therapy for kids. And they don't have to have certified teachers. They don't have to have. They don't have to require background checks for school for employees.
They don't go. They've set up separate but not equal situations. Basically, they just set up segregation all over again. School choice is really resegregating schools. Let's just call it what it is. And they're trying to make these little personal kingdoms, and they're trying to shit all over public schools, because public schools and the boards that run them are publicly elected and publicly vetted. So they're trying to destroy school districts like CMS. They're trying, even though the whole county funds these schools, and we have the schools that we want, we have the boards that we want, and they've been publicly elected through, democracy. They're trying to take that away. They're trying to take that power away. If you were to send your kid to a private school, pay for it your fucking self.
Exactly.
But don't
Exactly.
be mooching off the public system. The public schools, 100% of the state money and 100% of the county money should go to our public schools. It's a duly elected public board. If you want to set up, I don't believe in charter schools either. I think that's just another way of segregating again, predominantly just white kids and kids that fit the criteria, because what they can do, they can kick a kid out of charter schools.
Like in Fayetteville, there are schools, there are charter religious schools that are affiliated with religious that can deny your student entry if you're a gay parent, if you are a divorced parent, if you are a black parent, if you're a Latinx Hispanic parent.
It's built around
you don't have to have, and that's why we talk about
the conservatives have created this narrative that's never been proven to be true. Just like more guns make us safer. Is that school choice is supposed to improve the schools and the test scores and make them competitive?
It hasn't. Yeah.
It hasn't at all. In fact, the majority of charter schools test lower than their public school peers.
That's true.
Consistently.
So this is, hey Jen, let's I know you want to we can talk about that topic more, but I want to just a couple of other things on that groomer thing. I don't want to talk about him, but I brought him up. The Dems win. This is what's so important. These are little signs of a little shift in these red counties. And I was incorrect. You're right, Jen. That's not the most populous city in Florida. It is the largest city in America that had a GOP leader, a Republican leader, and that's really what it is. And it has been the first time in over 30 or 40 years that a Democrat has been elected mayor. And this was a very heavily Desantis supported candidate. And this city voted out, MAGAs voted out DeSantis, and this lady won. But more importantly, in Philadelphia last night, you've seen this a week, so it would be a Tuesday night, I believe, whatever. Anyway, you'll know this by now. Philadelphia held on to their Democratic lead in their house, their state house, that a special election. And even in Philadelphia, in Pennsylvania, Democrats held on to their lead in their governance there. But here's another thing. A report came out last week when you're seeing this. There is data that we already know that church membership has dropped to like 40% of active members. Now, we don't know who, even of that 40%, about 15 to 20 are really loud evangelical Bible bigots. The other ones just go because it's traditional and it's the family goes and so forth. There is a trend in the Rust Belt of America, that religion is declining in those areas, which spells big trouble for the GOP, because traditionally in a county, if the county is 50% or more where people go to church, they tend to vote more Republican. If the county is 50% and less of people going to church, they tend to be swing or more progressive counties. And more counties in the Bible Belt, Ohio, Michigan, those ones that they need to, they can't just become president from winning Texas and Florida. That's not possible, or Arizona. They need Michigan, they need Ohio, they need pockets of the electorate. And they're actually, those demographics are changing so much that they're losing voters because those voters are moving to Texas and Florida. And so there's a lot of signs demographically that they are in serious trouble, that their message is not sustainable. What do you think?
Well, I mean, they're kind of doing when we came out of the civil rights era and society started to kind of integrate, a lot of companies started considering cities like Atlanta and Dallas, that sort of thing. And you saw these the struggling South was very, very poor. I mean, Texas was very, very poor even when I was a kid. It didn't. Dallas started getting explosive growth in the 70s and 80s, and Atlanta too. And one of the reasons was that large companies with more national civil rights or more protection, companies from the North started deciding to expand in some of these traditional conservative Southern strongholds, and started because these cities started modernizing. You saw more concern about corporate growth and business growth versus the social politics.
Exactly.
And so, places like Florida got Disney World, and you saw this new South that was reviving, and the bigger areas, the more populated areas of those states started becoming more progressive. And you saw a change. And so, at least in general, they started allowing more safety protections and things like that. And places like Dallas became a very safe places all of a sudden for all people. And these new windbags from the Republican Party, these new Nazis, are trying to change that. They're trying to reverse that course.
Yeah.
They're trying to return it to the old bigoted South because they want that to be their
it's not sustainable. It's not a sustainable plan.
There may be a few people from the Midwest migrating down to those mouth breather states.
Sure.
But what the problem is the brain drain.
Exactly.
And the smarter, more successful people, for the most part, are going to leave these states. They're going to.
Yes.
They have the ability to move
because they have the means. Yep.
They have the means. They can transfer people. They said, well, you've got a job if we move you to the new Michigan or the new Wisconsin.
Exactly. Or Minnesota or Pennsylvania or Maryland.
That's what partially was benefiting
California.
Is that we had a common sense governor, a governor with a full set of brains that we didn't have with the Republican governor before, which was obsessed with genitalia and bathrooms. They had bathroom fetishes. And so the idiocy of these genitalia fetishes that the Republicans have is they're so worried about other people's genitalia. They're not realizing how stupid and creepy they look.
So
run business off. And if I have a large company, like Apple Computer, say I was the president of Apple, CEO of Apple Computer, I'm Tim Cook. I wouldn't put my newest $3 billion campus.
Yeah. It's not going to go to Florida or Texas. Yeah.
No, they already picked North Carolina.
Yeah.
But that's why we're incumbent upon voting out as many Republicans as we can and get the General Assembly under control, because otherwise the next big expansion, North Carolina, if they keep passing crazy fucking shit, like they just did with this abortion bill, and all this trans fuckery and all this over nothing, then the problem is that next $3 billion project is going to skip right over us. And we're not going to get
this is what's. Hey, listen, we're up against our second break, and then I want to kind of piggyback on that, and then we are going to go on to our topic, as we always say we will. So we'll piggyback on that, but we'll be right back after this on Coffee and Pan Dulce. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching our Coffee and Pan Dulce show every week. Don't forget you can watch us visually on our video podcast platforms on Facebook and YouTube, but you can also listen to us on your favorite audio podcast platforms like Apple, Amazon, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and all of the other ones that your favorite, whatever your favorite is. Once again, thank you for watching us on Coffee and Pan Dulce. We'll dance out. All right. So, Jen, interesting you say that. An article was released, and it came out the week we're taping this. Desantis did a interview with a kind of a conservative magazine, and he said two very problematic things in that article. One, he admitted, as he has in the past, that he's retaliating against Disney, which basically he's giving them equipment for their lawsuit, like Trump. The great thing about these egomaniacs is they can't shut up. So that's the one thing. People are afraid of DeSantis and think he's smarter, but he has such a big ego, and he has a Napoleon complex. It's a little dick man kind of complex that he can't help himself. He's such a drama queen that he can't shut up. The second thing that was in that article is DeSantis said that Disney was on a jihad against Florida, and Florida, that Disney must be destroyed. I don't know if he said the word destroyed, but he insinuated that was he was trying to be very dramatic.
Right.
A couple of things that are a problem with that. There is absolutely no professional company in America, HR director, that is going to be able to force or make their employees move to Florida, where a governor has basically said something like jihad. That is a very racist thing to say about xenophobic. That is very similar to him saying, we don't want to jive it up here in Florida for the blacks. Right. We don't want to taco it up here in Florida for the Hispanics or Latinx. We don't want to Jew it up here for us. He has said that is so offensive that I cannot believe that there would be a company in America that would not second think now sending their employees on a sales conference to Florida, sending for a convention, because young millennials and baby Zs, that's who they're going to be sending, and some Gen Xers, some younger Gen Xers, they're going to say, I'm not going to a state where they are saying something about my family, and gay people who are very high in the professional world. That's the first thing. The second thing, what you said about North Carolina, it is Vanity Fair dropped an article last night when we're taping this. This is 16th. We tape this on the 17th. Dropped it late on the 16th. And the headline for the article is the national model for how to lose elections. North Carolina Republicans passed 12-week abortion ban.
Yeah.
Basically, they're saying, if you want to know how to lose a state to Democrats, do what the Republicans are doing in North Carolina. Because what they did last night and what they have been doing, like what you have been talking about, you've been preaching, you've been saying this, warning people, they are doing. McCrory lost to Cooper when he ran it because of the toll road, because there were moderate Republicans and people up and down that I-77 toll road that were so pissed at him because he had that toll road. Imagine the toll road times 10. He's going after women. He's going after professionals who are LGBTQ. He's going after books. He's going after all the Republicans, I'm saying. The Bible bigots, the Moms for Liberty, all of that toll road corridor they're not MAGAs. And these individuals are basically looking at this and saying, this is too crazy. This is like HB2, the toll road, times 10. And that really is what it's like.
Well, HB2 more than anything ushered in this MAGA mentality. And the Republicans, this has been a game plan of theirs for a long time. This is nothing new. They've been doing this since 1980. And the HB2 was nothing but a trial balloon to see what they could get away with. And it backfired miserably for them. They did not think people would get that upset over banning trans people from the bathroom of their choice. They really thought that people would go, oh, yeah, that makes sense. We don't want trans women going in, women's spaces.
Exactly.
And people looked at this and they go, are you stupid? Just like the Knoxville dad that said what he said. There's a point in time, low-key Nazism, like what Reagan and Bush pushed, they were Nazis, but they were low-key about it.
Yeah.
These people are doing full frontal Nazi. They're going full Nazi.
Sure.
They are
full frontal Nazi.
They're fucking going after Disney. Come on. The creators of Baby Yoda?
The largest employer of Florida is being attacked by the governor.
So
talk about free market.
Disney employs over 75,000 people in the state of Florida alone.
That's crazy.
The only reason you go to Orlando is Disney.
Exactly.
Because it's built on a swamp in the middle of Central Florida. It's not like it's built on a beach. You kind of have to sit back and go, what are you talking about? You're fucking nuts, dude. Leave Disney alone. Disney is one of the most beloved companies in the world. I mean, you know, it's a massive company. I mean, I'm talking about a massive company between their film studio and their amusement. And, you know, I mean, we're talking about a guy that drew up a talking mouse. It's such a bizarre deal. But the crazy Christians out there have been demonizing Disney for a long while. And they've tried to write this narrative that Disney's woke and they're trying to turn your kids gay and they've been doing that a long time. This is nothing new. All this stuff, we think it's new. It's just that they're saying they kind of changed the players, they kind of changed the narrative. But the deal is they don't want you to watch Disney movies. They want you to watch their crazy ass Bible film.
With that Cameron, what's his name?
They don't want people vacation. They don't want you spending money on Disney stuff. They want you to send it into their churches, their church.
Interestingly, Jenny, this is what's so interesting. Some of the biggest mega churches in Florida are in Orlando, and Disney directly, because of the way the economy works in the Orlando region, those churches get their income from people who work at Disney.
Yeah,
and so this not only impacts Disney, it also impacts the same people who are fighting against them. It is crazy. Hey, listen, let's go into our topic, and then we can kind of jump back on this. And I want to talk about what you said on your show about drag queens. Our topic is this is the contest, the CPD Biggest Queen Show, Trump versus Desantis. It's not going to be that. Well, I don't know. We'll see. What do you think? Who's the biggest queen? Who gets the third crown of the CPD Biggest Queen Show? Trump versus Desantis. Who do you think? Trump or Desantis? Who's the biggest queen?
I think DeSantis is the biggest queen, and I'll say why. Trump's just an asshole.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
think
true.
He's dramatic. I think he's just a fucking ass. I think he's a rapey, assaulting predator that does not give a fuck about anybody, including his kids, his dumbass kids. You know, the three that work for him are just dumber than a box of rocks. And I think he's just a miserable, pants-shitting sexual predator. Bob, I want to say something about Bob Woodward, the famous journalist. I guess he interviewed Trump not too long ago.
Yep.
And he said, and now Trump's suing him. So Bob Woodward said, you know, since he's suing me anyway, I was going to say his adult diapers smell barrier doesn't work. You take that, you can smell his pants. But I think DeSantis is the biggest queen for a lot of reasons. So when a reporter a few weeks ago talked about him running for president, he just started, you know how he starts blinking his eyes when he gets upset and he doesn't know how to process it? It's all queenie. It gets so queenie. You know, I'm not running for president yet. I haven't announced anything. You know, I had to make it all about him. And it's just the way he reacts. Between that and those ridiculous white matching boots to his wife when he was doing the blood and hurricane zone.
That's crazy.
The way he's just such a flamboyant, a lot like Hitler. He's more like Hitler than even has the little asswipe hair that's folded over. He has the whole Nazi look. I think he just is this big old performative queen that just gets so twitchy and upset when he faces any resistance.
Sure.
He
loses it. Yeah.
And that's why he's getting his ass kicked in the polls by Trump. Trump's a motherfucker. Anybody that runs up against him is going, it's like running up against a rolling ball, razor blades. And I'm not a Trumper by I'm a full-on Democrat. Biden's my guy. But Trump is a prick. He's not going to stop.
So this is what I told someone. I'll tell you. Last week when I was at my sports bar watching a hockey game, someone said about, well, hey, your boy, they always like to say it to me, your boy Biden looks like he's running again. And my understanding is, they were trying to like shame me. And my understanding is that even Democrats don't want him to run. And I replied back by saying, but here's the deal. He's not our first choice. But your choices are so bad that he looks so good. There's no time in America that you can have an 80-year-old guy running, and he actually doesn't have to run. He is doing this to save us, but y'all are so bad that he looks good. And so this is not a negative about Biden. This is a negative about y'all.
Right. Well, I mean, you're running your B team and losers. So you're basically running all your suckers and losers. You're running Tim Scott, who looks like the Great Pumpkin. I mean, his chiclets are made for TV. His smile. I mean, if he wears an orange shirt, people think he literally is the Great Pumpkin from Charlie Brown. Nimrata,
that's right.
Like Nikki Haley.
Nikki Haley.
There's so much white supremacy in the Republican Party. She has to hide her Indian genetic. She has to go by, instead of going by Nimrata, Gershi, Prachi, she has to use a fake name. And they make fun of trans people. She's running under on an assumed name that's not her birth certificate name. It's trying to hide herself. Like, she just has a really good tan. I'm like,
yeah. So
that's not a tanning bit, babe.
Hey, listen,
she's
Jenny.
A person of color. And then you got Mike Pence is probably going to run.
Yeah.
Alongside a mother. We've got Kentucky.
It's like a cartoon.
It's like a cartoon candidate.
Yeah.
And he's still only polling at 7%. And the others are polling below him.
Yeah.
And Trump's got like 70-something%. And this dude got blown out, lost the popular vote twice.
Yeah.
Is under indictment for crimes. Just got lost a civil suit for $5 million for sexually assaulting somebody, so he's a sex predator.
And defaming her,
And defaming her. He's such an ass, he can't keep his mouth shut, and he's too stupid to do it. That's their front runner. That is their front runner.
And exactly.
Proven in court that he's a rapist.
Yeah. So, hey, listen, if you like what you're hearing from Jenny, she does have a show that drops 30 minutes after this every Wednesday at 11:30. It's called Two Queers in a Truck. And this next break is actually going to talk about that show. So we will be right back right after this.
Up next is Two Queers in a Truck with Jenny and Christian. And hope you guys tune in. We'll see you in about 15 to 20 minutes. Thank you.
Well, welcome back. I'm sorry, Jen. I didn't mean to interrupt you. It's just what you said. I thought.
But
okay, here we go.
The slate of candidates that we had the time that this show becomes professional is going to be laughable.
That's right.
But at least we can laugh at ourselves. But it makes this slate of candidates look like dog shit compared to 2008.
Mm-hmm.
And old ass McCain got the nomination in 2008 because nobody else wanted to run. They go, oh no, W fucked this country up. I ain't gonna waste my shot. I'm not gonna shoot my shot in 2000. And so let's just send old John out there. He needs a feather in his cap. We'll give him the nomination. I'm going to let him get blasted by Obama. And because John McCain couldn't have beat Hillary or Obama, whoever we trotted out in 2008, after W's put us in Great Recession and got us in a two-front war, spending trillions of dollars, we look like idiots because we are idiots.
Yeah.
And now I think the Republican Party says, we're going to try out a bunch of fucking political lightweights like Desantis that can't even hold up into a press conference without looking like he's going to cry.
Mm-hmm.
And he's essentially the front runner because Trump won't be able to run once he gets convicted of a crime and is in prison. So right now, Trump's the front runner because he's the only real heavyweight in the race. But even him, he can't even get the majority of the vote.
Yeah,
he's lost 2 popular votes by a total of almost 12 million people. And
so this is what's so bizarre is I agree with you. Okay, I got to go back. Okay, so our show, Trump versus DeSantis, we can agree DeSantis wins this one.
Oh, easily, yeah. Right? I mean,
okay. So the winner of the third biggest Queen show of Trump versus DeSantis is DeSantis in Florida is the biggest Queen. So congratulations, Ron DeSantis. You have won the Coffee Pan Dulce Show's third biggest Queen show. You're the biggest Queen. So I want to jump real quickly because we only have about 12 minutes left, Jed. Oh, actually, the Panduhi Chronicles. And this is the Pendejo Chronicles. I don't have anything, so we're going to skip that segment. So we haven't had a lot of trolls lately.
Chronicles. I mean, we haven't really been trolled much here lately because I think the Republican Party and the MAGAs have been such a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
Now I think when this drops,
we will have some.
This is a clickbait show.
Yeah, exactly. It is. That's why I only talked about it for a minute.
It is just so our listeners and our viewers get in on the side of this joke. So this title of this show is an inside joke.
Yeah,
Christian makes certain titles of certain shows clickbait shows, where we really don't talk about the title so much. This is how we know. We can discern our comments on our Facebook page. So when this goes up, and all the MAGA queens see this, they're going to go nuts. They
will.
They'll spout off. We'll get all of our regulars back. But then
we'll get a couple of Latinx is racist. Where'd that come from?
All the normal stuff that we get blowback on from our non-viewers, but they comment on our Facebook page.
Yeah.
That's why I always say social media is not real life.
No, it's not.
A lot of people on social media is so disconnected from real life.
Sure.
You just see these MAGA mouth breathers and chuds and chodes just going off on stuff that doesn't even exist. And people in real life watch the show and realize they spent a minute and a half on the subject.
Yeah,
in reality.
That's right.
And the rest
hey, listen.
Stuff.
Hey, Jen, we talked about this very briefly. So in about 5 minutes, let's talk about this. On your show, we talked about the drag queen thing, and you and I kind of talked about what I hope people do. Not. I'm not really talking about activists or advocates. I'm talking about just people in general to push back on these Bible bigot laws, anti-drag shows, all this banning books all across the country. When the dust settles, there will be payback. There will be a pushback. I don't know, payback, a pushback against these. It's just natural. Human beings are like that. You can't push people without them saying, hey, hold on a second. You can't tell me how I want to dress. You can't tell me what I have to look like.
Yeah.
So once again, what do you think people need to do around the country once these laws settle,
I think
what do they need to do? Okay.
Yeah, I think when that comes to your shores, that you've got to flame them up, and so you use those very vaguely written laws, purposely vague, against them. I think you weaponize it, just like when Texas passed their turn in your neighbor law, that abortion law, where you call it hotline, you could get a bounty. And so people all over the country started calling into that phone number and just started blowing it up. It shut it down multiple times until they finally just gave it up. That's what's got to happen here. You got to flood every local law enforcement deal, whether you live in Florida or not, and report, because you know that there's going to be some women that are going to have a more masculine look, that aren't trans, not a drag queen, and vice versa. There will be feminine men. You can turn in every church that has a preacher in a robe, aka a
exactly.
dress. Like you can do that every Sunday. You can turn in every Catholic church that has every Lutheran.
Anyone
church,
who's in a choir.
Everybody in the choir, because you know there's going to be some queer-looking people. And
Trisha Cotham, I swear, is a drag queen.
I mean,
you see Trisha Cotham in Charlotte or Matthews? Call 911 on Trisha Cotham. She make her prove to police that she's not a drag queen.
She's definitely had gotten some Groupons for Botox.
What's that? I don't get what's that foggy eye thing she's got going on. What's that? I mean, I know that's kind of sexist for me to say that, but what is that look that she's got going on?
Well, her attempt to do that makeup,
it's like a glamour shot kind of thing.
If she wasn't so problematic, a cosmetologist, especially a gay one that does drag, needs to help her with the makeup. She just like Trump's look, you can tell he didn't have any true gay friends.
Exactly. Girl, you are not going to.
Sweetie honey pie, let me help you with your look. First, we're going to start with that propeller-looking hair that you got. It looks like a dead raccoon. So we need to fix that. I know you think that's your look, but it's not a good look. Second, change your diapers often. And third, we got to redo whatever spray tan, rub on. We don't know
what's
how.
All that? Yeah.
So, like, it looks like your liver exploded. And you look like a jaundiced baby is what you look like. And so
hey, Jen, to get back. So what you're saying is when the dust settles and when people really start to digest what these laws are.
Well, I think they are.
People are naturally going to push back. And what you're saying is, I expect that to happen. Yeah.
We saw that in Pennsylvania last night.
Yeah.
We saw that in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
We're seeing this all over the country. We saw this in Kansas last year when they codified abortion.
Yeah.
In a very conservative state. We're not talking about fucking New York City or LA or something. We're not talking about a San Francisco or something. We're not talking about a liberal stronghold. We're talking about goat farmers and Midwestern fuckery. They voted to codify abortion.
Yeah.
And I mean, a record number of young women registered to vote, like a massive push. Because they're going, I got to deal with this for at least 30 years, at least until I go through the life and go into menopause and can't have any children. But from now, if I'm a 25-year-old woman and I'm single or married, but without kids, my thought of starting a family would shut down if I lived in the state. It took away my ability to make a decision. The decision between me and my doctor now includes the hospital lawyers and the fucking legislative branch. So I've got a bunch of people in that medical examination room that effectively says a week ago I could make that decision.
Well,
I could
this
make a decision in a, hang on a second. Wasn't done talking.
Okay.
It's a very important point.
Okay.
When a woman is hormonal and vulnerable and pregnant, and she's told that fetus isn't growing anymore, essentially it's never going to become a baby. And at that moment, all of her hopes, dreams, and aspirations get dashed. On top of that, the hospital attorney comes in there and says, we can't help you get rid of that fetus yet because it's got to be life-threatening. You got to get sick and your vitals have got to drop before we can take that dead fetus, that non-viable fetus, out of your body. You can't make that decision with the surgeon. Think about that for a second. But there is going to be thousands of women in that situation. And I'll tell you what, if I had ovaries and I was of an age that could get pregnant, I'd get on triple birth control. I'd make every sexual partner I had wear 5 condoms.
Yeah.
Or I would stick to non-intercourse sexual action before I would get pregnant in the state of North Carolina. And the opposite of what these chuckle fucks think they're going to do, they're going to have this boom of white babies.
Yeah.
Is going to be opposite because that generation has options and has the brains to go.
Yeah.
Because I've had these conversations with cis women recently at different gatherings. I said, the fuck if I'm going to get pregnant. And you're going to see, and you've also seen nationwide, a record amount of reversible vasectomies done at Planned Parenthood clinics and doctor's offices with young men going, well, shit, if she doesn't have the option, I don't want to get them pregnant.
Yeah.
And I don't want to accidentally get somebody pregnant because birth control is not 100%. Neither is condoms.
Yeah.
And I don't want to have an oops baby. And my partner has to make a decision to either travel or break the law. Not to mention medical emergency abortions.
Sure.
But I tell you what, if I was in that situation, if I was this woman, this
one of the
JJ would shut down.
yeah. Well, one of the things, and I know we'll be talking about this over the next year. We've got a long time. It's going to come back real quickly. But there's a lot of elections going to be happening, and this is, I think, where people are going to start to. We're going to start to see the outrage and the pushback of this right-wing Bible bigot kind of legislation all across the country. I know here in North Carolina, I truly believe that you're going to see a bunch of what I call stealth voters, who may be Republican women, more conservative women, even church women who are going to go in the booth and they're going to vote.
Think about the Barb Bacons and
yeah, exactly.
You always say the largest voting bloc in our state is independents.
Yes.
And I think these people, just like that Knoxville guy, are going to look at this and going, God, I have a grown daughter. I got to stop this insanity. This is crazy. I like some of the things the Republicans say, but I couldn't give 2 shits about trans kids. They're not a threat. I don't even know any trans kids. I've never even seen any trans kids. I wouldn't know if they're trans or not.
Yeah. And it's not my business.
Yeah, it's none of my fucking business. Exactly. It's not my kid or grandkid.
Yeah.
And they're looking at this going, abortion is nobody's business but the person that has the fetus and the medical practitioners. Because it's one of those decisions that should be made by the professional. And this goes back to that mindset of the anti-medical community during COVID. Is that these mouth breather MAGAs don't trust people smarter than them because they use big words and know what they're talking about. And educating people confuse them. And so instead of just listening and opening your ears and learning something, these fuckers just come up with schemes and scams like this. But I'm telling you, it's going to have a chilling effect that for young women of childbearing age that can get pregnant, it also affects the people they love, they care about, whether it's a parent, an aunt and uncle, anybody that has a daughter, a niece, a sister.
Okay. Hey, Jen, I got to catch up because we run out of time.
Yeah.
We've
But
gone over.
back. But
Yeah.
the biggest thing is that they lashed back against the heterosexual community.
Yeah.
No matter who you are.
Yeah.
That abortion ban just affected all the straight people in North Carolina that can get pregnant.
Exactly. Yeah. So here's the deal, and then we're going to end the show. All across the country, these anti drag queen and kind of bills, and which is similar to the transgender bills and all kinds of stuff. I think it's going to have a lot of side effects. Most of the bills read like this, and this is what's going to have a problem. Men dressing as women are women dressing as men. That's what they're banning. And they use this word, prurient interest. The word prurient interest, because it's so vague, that's what I think is going to get challenged. Because what's obscene to you and me is maybe not obscene to some other people. And it is subjective. And the police have to determine, is this drag queen obscene, according to this person, or is this just an entertainer? And when we start calling on people like Trisha Coffin, who walks into a Walmart, who I'm going to say, that's a drag queen, call 911. The police are going to have, it's ridiculous, but the police are going to have to determine that could be offensive to me. If there are kids in Walmart and Trisha Coffin walks in, who I think looks like a drag queen, to me, that is an adult entertainer. And so for me, those things, you have to be able to call these things out. And the reason I say this is because today, and this is what people have to realize, there is a song called Fernando that ABBA sings. And when ABBA did that video, the women in ABBA and the men in ABBA look exactly alike. Their hair is exactly the same. They're kind of like a unisex kind of look. If I was to sing, or if me and my sister or my cousins were to sing that song in front of children, and even in a private home, it could be illegal because someone could say that I was doing drag. When I'm not, all I'm doing is singing a song to my father. And that is what's so scary about this bill, is the bill says in public property and in private property. So if there's children involved, and to me, that's where I think we're going to have a lot of challenges, and it has to be challenged. So that's all I have to say, because I know I dug myself in a hole there.
Yes. Anyway, please do. We have to exist in this county.
Yeah, that's right.
I think the biggest thing too is because they've written these things so vague, and they're not saying it has to be a drag specific thing, because they want to be able to go after gender queer people. Yeah. Or people that aren't gender queer. They don't have a gender dysmorphia. Mm-hmm. They're not trans, or they're not non-binary. There's some people that look androgynous, and look genderqueer, that aren't. That's just their look. I mean, take a David Bowie or a Prince. That Prince wore women's clothing. All of his clothing came from women's line.
The group Kiss,
because he looked good in it. So some people just look good in women's clothing. Some men look good in makeup. They really do. It accentuates the eyes, whatever you want to. It's so bizarre that the Republicans did this. Well, how it's going to backfire is just the way the abortion turn in your neighbor the hotline worked out in Texas. It's going to blow up in their face. And some conservative Republican's wife that has short or has a fucking, literally a high and tight boycott. Is going to be walking in a Walmart bathroom. And when she comes out, the security's going to be there going, you're in drag. And they're going to shut down that Walmart, because they can do that before. They can shut down that business. Let me tell you, they screw with a Walmart or something like that, some maniacal local psychopathic Republican,
Yep.
Sheriff or police chiefs and go, I'm going to make an example of Walmart because they're catering to the homosexuals and drag.
Yeah.
And the unintended consequence of these laws being weaponized against them because they're so stupid is a big old company like Walmart or Disney is going to go, I'm going to change the name, for example. And we've got billions of dollars and we've got a on retainer 100 attorney staffed up group. We're going to sue the pants literally off you.
So can I say something like on the positive side, Jenny? I am. This has been a terrible year, a terrible last couple of years, for many, many reasons. You and I talk about this all the time. But one of the things that I'm going to be interested to see is how we respond to this, how we pivot, how drag queens and drag shows and drag entertainers respond. They're not going to shut it down. We are going, because, we have been surviving for millennia. There's always been gay people, trans people, drag queens in different cultures. In the Native American culture, in the indigenous cultures, there are unisex people who, there's a third sex. It's been around forever. So it is not possible to do that. This isn't like the Elizabethan or Victorian age or whatever. They're trying to return us to that. So all these Bible bigot people think it's over. No, all it means is there's going to be a pushback against your church. There's also going to be more creative ways that people are going to, because now drag queens are going to have the ability to perform drag and say, it's my religious exemption. Exactly.
Here's what's going to happen is you're going to have churches, progressive churches sponsoring drag shows.
Yeah.
You're gonna have, and when the cops come, you're gonna go, well, this is a religious ceremony. Exactly. And you're gonna go, are you anti-religion? Do you hate Jesus? And it'll be night. It'll be game over. And the second thing is, just like that dad in Knoxville, there's dads and moms like that all across the country. They're not these mouth-breathing idiots like Moms for Liberty and the Proud Girls and all this. But most Americans don't think that way. 80% of us don't. And they're going to go, they've just gone too far. And there's going to be a massive wave. You saw it last year when they didn't have the red wave.
Yeah, that's right.
They're holding on to the House by 5 votes, right? Boebert's going to lose. Yeah. Second time around to Adam Frisch. There's no way she's going to win. DeSantis is going to be gone one way or the other. He's either going to get voted out, or he's going to be removed, or he goes to jail, and they'll just expel him out of the House. And that seat's going to go to a Democrat the next time around. You're not going to get away with cheating a second time. Yeah. There's at least 2 to 3 seats that are going to flip in 2024. And there's a whole bunch more in New York that are going to flip. And several in California too. And so by the time it's all said and done, there's going to be a massive blue wave in the House. We're going to take back the House. We're probably going to expand in the Senate. Ted Cruz is going to get fired. Yeah, I think Ted Cruz is going to lose. I think Allred's got to really, I think he's going to kill it in Texas. Yeah. And there is a rumor that Heidi Cruz has kicked Ted Cruz out of their Texas home. Oh. So it's not completely. But
some say.
According to certain specific sources. The Ted Cruz. He doesn't really like Texas anyway. He really prefers King. So I mean.
Well, hey, ladies and gentlemen, I got to wrap this up because we're going over by 11 minutes. Thank you so much. It's been a great conversation. Congratulations, Ron DeSantis in Florida, for winning our 3rd crown for the biggest Queen show. And in 30 seconds or less, Jen, the weekend after this drops, where are you going to be, or what's going on?
I have no plans. I guess that's Memorial Day weekend. It's also my dad's birthday. He will be turning 80. And so, but I'm not going anywhere. Memorial Day is a terrible weekend to travel. It's a miserable weekend. I worked in the travel business, and I hated Memorial Day and Labor Day because it's miserable to work in that industry on those weekends. So I don't do that to other travel people that work in the travel industry now. I stay home. I just chill out, do some work around the house, and I just stay away out of harm's way and craziness.
Well, I'm sure I will be somewhere as well. I'll be camping as summer's going to start. Yeah, then summer's going to start. The beginning. Gosh, my goodness, we need a summer. We need Pride Month. We need these things to lift people up. And I almost kind of think, Jen, I know we're going to go over here, but I almost kind of think that with everything that has been done to attack people, our neighbors, and so forth, we almost need like a time to just rejuvenate. And I hope this summer, Pride festivals, Pride, those kind of things, is a time for us. There's still going to be things happening. We can't stop, but we got to rejuvenate, because once fall comes in, and then once next year, it's going to be a tough 2024 to get ready for the 2024 elections. And I do think that we have to remind ourselves, you and me specifically, because we're pretty involved in things, we've got to rejuvenate ourselves, keep ourselves healthy, keep ourselves ready, because this fight is a couple of year fight. And it's going to be, and I know we're going to win. Jacksonville happened, like you said, a lot of these other things have happened. These are little signs of telling us that their rhetoric is not winning people over. It's not like big top 20 states or cities are turning Republican. It's not like people are saying, I think what they're doing makes sense. I think we need to bring a bunch of MAGA people to it. It's not happening that way.
No, well, the message of hate, which is what this really is. This is hate.
Yeah.
This is intimidation. Doesn't resonate with American sensibility of fair play. One thing that we do not like as a people in general is bullies.
Yeah.
When you appear to be a bully, whether you are or not, but when you see people bullying small groups of people or minorities or affected groups, that American sense of fair play and defending the underdog kicks in. And you can't help but not look at the Republican Party and not look at them as bullies and fascists and annoying. And you see them just trying to pull out all the stops because they think they can push so hard that they'll crush people. And if they think they can crush Americans, they don't understand our nature. We lash back. We'll move heaven and earth to crush bullies. We saw that in World War II. We did miraculous things in mobilization to crush a group of empires that could have made this world go very dark. And we won the war almost single-handedly by ourselves. And if we had not done what we done, we may still be goosed up, and there probably wouldn't be a lot of us left. And so that's who the American people are, like us or not. We are loud. We're very proud. And when our sense of fair play kicks in, the people on the other end, no matter who they are, is probably going to not like the find out part of us.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think you're going to see that in the ballot box in November of 2024.
Jenny, that is and I'm not trying to be funny, but what you just said, was very inspiring.
Yeah.
And I know you and I had been through a lot over the last couple of years, just with all the attacks on who we are as human beings.
Right.
And so I am happy to see that in you, because we have to have that. We're going to survive this. It's very hard.
Of course.
We're going to survive this, and we're going to come out stronger than we were before. And that's exactly right. America as a whole.
It's important to talk about the conversations of pointing out the hypocrisy and the idiocy and the cruelty, but at the same time, also betting on America and betting on mostly good people that want to make right the wrongs that are being done on our behalf in these state houses and the Republican Party, and saying, we also can fix it. We also can bet on hope. We can have the audacity of hope. And I do believe in my heart of hearts that will happen. I'm not afraid of the Republicans. I'm not afraid of the future. I always know we come through. It's sad now, but also I realize I have a lot of privilege. Personally, I live in a bubble. And I also know that every American has got a certain feel of resilience. And we see this when we have a tragedy like a 9/11, a Pearl Harbor, a COVID. We tend to rally, or most of us do. I mean, there's every village has an idiot. So we have some village idiots, just typically called Republicans now. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, outside of that 15% of Americans that I guess ate a lot of lead paint chips when they were young, really do rally. We really do say, for the most part, when I went into a Harris Teeter, no matter what part of town it was, even old-looking Republican dudes were wearing masks. There'd be one or two assholes that'd be strutting around without a mask on.
Yeah.
Miss Ronan's going to be visiting you pretty soon. I won't have to worry about you, especially when there was no vaccine. And I just see all this anti-vax, anti-mask stuff as karma will catch up to you.
Exactly. Karma will catch up. And you said it exactly. And
history's on our side.
Exactly. Well, we will be dropping, when you see this show, we will also be dropping our summer schedule. We've got a lot of really good shows for the summer. One of them is, Jenny mentioned this, we'll be talking about the brain drain in certain states like Florida and Texas and some MAGA counties around the country. There's a brain drain happening as we speak. We'll also be talking about a lot of other topics as well. Dr. B is coming back. We'll be talking about the end of COVID. As we know, it's not actually over, but the end of the pandemic. He will be back as well. And then the last show next week that we'll be dropping is the last show of spring. We'll be talking about the cancel culture war in America. Is it really just a war about those with culture and those without culture? So that's what we'll be talking about. So we want to thank everyone for joining us on Coffee Pan Dulce. We have gone over, but I think it was important for us to talk about these topics. Well, once again, the MAGAs and Desantis is panicking. So we will leave with the Smiths. All right. Bye, y'all.
Bye, babe.
Bye, Pooh.
Hey, y'all. Thanks for watching Coffee Pan Dulce. And I hope you all have a great week. And it's almost the end of May. Be safe out there.
Bye, Boo.
Next up, thanks for watching Coffee Pan Dulce. Next up is Two Queers in a Truck. Stay tuned.
Coffee and Pan Dulce. How's that? Coffee and Pan Dulce.
Sounds great.
It sounded like a telenova. I mean...
Okay. Give me 1 second. And I'll tell you why we have this song on.
Is it on?
Yep, we're on.
Yeah, but I mean, the music's not on.
Oh, sorry. Give me 1 second.
I thought you danced. I'm like, well, you're dancing to nothing because it's not coming through.
Okay.
There we go.
Hold on. Okay, let's reset.
I mean,
Hold on, sorry. Sorry, I can't stop laughing. Okay, here we go. We're back.
probably would have added the.
Yeah, that's right. The common part.
I would.
Okay.
But